Hello everyone, welcome to another video, and today we're gonna talk about combo theory and how to properly structure your combos. Okay, so as you probably already know, the quickest way to know how to structure a combo for a specific character is usually just go on YouTube, find combo guides, or go on Reddit, or just Google it, right? Just search online, and most of the times you will find a lot of combo guides and tutorials, right? But I do believe that it's actually important to know the theory behind structuring a combo, because this can actually help you a lot to understand why you're using those attacks, and maybe also find new combo routes. So what basically happens once you juggle the opponent, like once you throw the opponent in the air, you launch him, there are two things that you need to keep in mind. The first thing is that every time you hit the opponent in mid-air, the scaling of your attack will decrease, which means that the more you hit the opponent, the less damage he takes. The first hit, once the opponent is airborne, is usually around 70%. Your opponent only takes 70% of the total damage of the move. And then it drops to 50, then 40, then 30, and it will basically hard cap to 30%, right? And also another thing that you need to keep in mind is the fact that the more you hit the opponent in midair, the more pushback the opponent is gonna receive from your attacks, right? So the first attacks, they will have very, very little pushback, while the more you go on with the combo, the more even small pokes like standing jab, they will have insane pushback, right? And it will be impossible to continue the combo. So once you launch the opponent, I think this is the most important part of the combo when it comes to damage. This is the part that will establish how much damage your combo is gonna deal. So once you hit the opponent, the first few hits, they need to deal a lot of damage. You need to use the most damaging options your character has, because that's when you have the highest amount of scaling. During the first 2 to 3 hits, you have the highest scaling, 70%, then 50%, and 40%. You wanna try to capitalize on that. And the first part, like I said, it's the part where that is going to establish how much damage your combo is going to deal. Of course, your follow-ups, they depend on the type of launcher that you get. You can get a regular launcher, like something like down for 2, or you can get like what we like to refer as a class 1 launcher, right? Something that throws the opponent sky high, and usually for those type of combos, you can usually get something more. You can generally squeeze more damage out of those combos. So, for example, for Dragunov, once you launch the opponent, a good way is to start the combo with 4-1. Of course, the choice of the follow-up, it also heavily depends on the properties of that move. So for example, starting with 4-1 with Dragunov, that will make sure that you will recover very, very quickly to the opponent, and very, very close to the opponent, but also quickly, so you can follow up with something else, like for example 4-4. A follow-up like back for 3 is definitely more damaging, but the problem is that Dragunov doesn't follow the opponent. You see, the opponent is very far away after the back for 3, while with 4-1, Dragunov chases the opponent. So he recovers quickly, and he recovers very close to the opponent. Back for 3, although probably the most damaging option, unfortunately, it leaves the opponent very far away. So because of this, following up with 4-4, which that would be like the best option afterwards, because 4-4, it's a great move because it puts you in crouch. And that is the point where you want to start to do combo fillers to increase the wall carry. So once you do back 4-3 here, 4-4 will whiff, right? And in most cases, you have to go with subpar options, right, to try and keep up. You can try to do back 1-2, but this is an insta-bound, basically. And insta-bounds are generally very, very bad. You don't want to do an insta-bound. You want to try to bound generally after the wall carry part. You need to use the bound as a reset. When the opponent starts to get way too far away from you, that's when you bound, so that you can get a reset, get close to the opponent, and get the final part of the combo ender on him. So insta-bound is bad. Stuff like this is very, very bad. So, for example, you do 4-1, and then you follow up with 4-4. These options are very damaging for Dragunov, are the most damaging options at his disposal. They are damaging, but they also have good frames. They have good frames and good properties. Like, if we want to use another example, for example, we're going to use Brian as an example. You usually want to follow up after a combo like this, let's say after Jet Upper. You generally follow up with 1+2, 1+2-1, right? You follow up with 1+2-1 because it's pretty damaging, pretty damage, and it leaves the opponent very close to Brian, right? There are more damaging follow-ups, like, for example, this one, back 1-4, but unfortunately you can't really do it. Oh, you can, actually. You can, but it's very technical, because if you don't do it correctly, you will get another Jet Upper, so it's very technical to do. But generally, something like 1+2-1, because it's very damaging, you see, 30 damage it deals. Or something like while standing free 4. This is pretty damaging as well. Can I see the whole thing? Yeah, it's around 34 damage. It's more than 30 damage for sure. And this is also very damaging, but it's a bit more complicated to use in combos. So this is the first part, right? And then, after the first 3 to 4 hits, that's when the wall carry part of the combo starts. And in the case of Dragunov, as you know, that's when we do full crouch down forward 1-4, that automatically transitions into sneak. Actually, strings that will transition into stances are very, very useful in this section of the combo. It's the same thing with Brian. Brian also uses this type of strings, like this, you see? Because it's very helpful to catch up with your opponent. Because now, every time you hit the opponent, there's gonna be a pretty consistent chunk of pushback every time. So, in this case, you want something like a string that will transition you into like a crouch dash, or a moving stance that will allow you to catch up with your opponent. So anything that allows you to transition into a specific stance that allows you to get close to the opponent, like Dragunov, 3-1 into sneak, 2-1 into sneak, 4 crouch down forward 1-4 into sneak. All of this is insanely valuable when it comes to this section of the combo, right? The middle part, where you want to try to wall carry the opponent. Now you're not gonna get a lot of damage from your attacks, so what matters here is get close to the opponent. Sorry, get close to the wall. I'm sorry. Get close to the wall. So, like I explained with Dragunov, full crouch down for 1-4, and then now you bound, because there's not much you can do. That is an 8 hits combo, right? So by that point, you have to bound. You have to reset here. because you can't do more than that. Like if you try to crouch cancel or something, it's not going to work. You see? Now you need a reset. And it's the same thing with Brian. I also want to give you another example. It's the same thing with Brian. You do this. Sorry. Pa, 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 pa. Sorry. Wait. Here we go. That's when you bound, because there's not much else you can do. Then once you bound the opponent, that's basically the last part of the combo. And if you're blessed with a character with a tornado tailspin or something like, for example, Dragunov's down forward 3+4, you can actually do that before your combo ender. This is actually very important in Tekken 8. Some characters, they don't have that, so they have to use something. They just have to go with the combo ender, and that's it. But characters with this particular move here, with this particular property, this is actually very, very useful for them. So down forward 3+4, and then you finish your combo. In this case, you use 4-1. We don't use back 4-3 anymore because that was nerfed in the last patch. As for Brian, it's the same thing, right? You do pop pop. You finish the combo with CD21. Very damaging, and it also gives you a lot of wall carry afterwards. Another important thing that you need to look for your combo ender is, of course, not only the wall carry, but also the type of wall splat the move is gonna give you. Because let's say in the case of Dragunov, I don't know if I can do that, but I think I can. 4-4 unfortunately doesn't connect. But let's say that 4-4 in that situation connects. Unfortunately, it doesn't. But it's a very damaging combo ender if you can do it. But unfortunately, it will give you a wall splat, but it will give you like a very bad wall splat where you basically, there's not much you can do. It's not a consistent wall splat. The opponent will slide down immediately before you can get close to him and get your wall combo. This is also another very damaging wall splat, but unfortunately, it gives you a very, very bad wall splat, and in most cases, you don't have enough time to recover. The opponent will just slide down immediately. In the case of Brian, I showed you CD21, which is very damaging, but he also has CD412. Although it depends on the combo, you need to do a very specific combo to get that ender. As you can see, if you do this variation, the move will connect. But if you do this, which is more damaging, but it uses more hits. Wait, it uses more hits, so that combo ender will not connect. Oh, sorry. Come on. Come on. As you can see, it will not connect, so you need to do a different combo route here. But if you do that combo route, okay, now here, in that case you can do it. So you need to look for generally 2 hit strings or 3 hit strings if like the first part of your combo didn't use a lot of hits. You need to look for that, but it's generally 2 hit strings or 3 hit strings. If you have a tornado tailspin, is generally very, very effective. And it's generally stable. It's the same thing with Feng Wei. He uses up forward 3, even though they nerfed that move in terms of damage, is still one of the best options after the bound. Of course, you can also decide to give up on your wall carry to focus on Oki. For example, in big stages like this one. In the case of Dragunov, you have several options. One of the easiest options is just to do forward 3 1+2, and you can follow up with a stomp there. Even if they tech roll, you can follow up with a stomp, and in most cases you will be able to clip them. So you need to look at attacks that will spike the opponent on the ground without the ability of tech rolling. Some attacks, they will give you that they will give you that situation. Like for example, okay, so if they try to tech roll there, a tech roll is not possible. As you can see, they have to stand up. The tech roll is completely negated in that situation, but not every move. Every move that will spike the opponent on the ground will allow you to do that. It's arbitrary. For example, with Dragunov, if you do something like this, yeah, that also will spike the opponent on the ground, but he will recover very far away. So you also need to look for that. You want something that will spike the opponent on the ground, but it will leave you very close to the opponent. This is actually a very cool combo for Dragunov to get good Oki. Brian, I think he can do is he can do this variation here. You do CD2-2 instead of CD2-1, and that's basically how you get your Oki. Like this. You will spike the opponent on the ground and he has to stand up very, very close to you. Now, in most cases, these type of spikes, the opponent can hold back and wake up, but you can still get a mix-up on them. So they are actually very, very useful. But that's it. That's all I wanted to say. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and take care.